All right, Holly's hobby tonight is going to be painting a picture requested by my friend June for The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's going to be Jack Skellington and Sally, his little love interest. And I've just got done pouncing the moon. We're going to dive right into this whimsical, enchanting world of Tim Burton-esque. Everything's going to be cartoony and vibrant and a little spooky. So we're going to be using some vibrant colors and lots of blacks for the silhouettes that are spooky and moody, just like in the movie. And we're going to go ahead and get a bunch of vibrant colors, some muted colors. Make sure you got your water, your brushes out, and your palette ready, and a good attitude. And let's get going. So I've already pounced, like I said, the moon, and then I pounced a little bit of white on top of it. And since this is glass, I kind of chiseled a little bit in and out here and there just for a little bit of texture. I base coated a tree, and then the purple squiggle, which I'm going to have to go over a couple more times, and I've got a base coat of Jack and Sally dancing, and their dog Zero's coming up in a moment. And let's get into it. I've got a bunch of brown on my brush, and I'm waiting on Sally and Jack to dry up a little bit. So I'm going to add some more spooky background and trees. Remember, this is your painting. It's the creative imagination of Tim Burton's fantasy world anyway. Now is the time to do your artistic freedom. I've got Zero the floating dog flying in there. He's space coated a couple of times. Alright, so we're going to go add in a little bit of shadows. Just double load your brush with the light brown and the dark brown and put it back in those crooks and crannies. Add a couple of, I guess bark is lack of a better term. Alright. Make a couple of spooky branches, bring them down. I like to keep my shadows over on one side. If I know that the source of light, which is the moon here, the giant moon you can't miss, is here, I know my shadows are going to be on this side over here. All right, that's looking pretty good to me. So I'm going to go to, well, you can't have an omelet without a few eggs cracked, huh? I messed up there. All right, let me go ahead and make the lay of the land here. A little bit of shadows, lay some groundwork, some literal groundwork. And I'm debating on if I want, I don't know if I want a spooky graveyard or just a wrought iron fence. I think that the painting will tell me here in a little bit. All right, go back over here. Let's see, we have the moon, this hill. Let's see if we can't kind of interconnect the two. That looks better. All right, cool. Let's see, make another little bit of hill. Just adds a little bit of interest. Breaks up the ground a little bit. Although it is a cartoon, I don't want it to look super cartoony like I just drug a bunch of cartoon colors on it. You know, I want it to actually have some blending to it. Alright, I'm going to have to do another couple of coats over here on this purple because I got it pretty good and dark purpley. Let's see how we're setting. I added a couple of spooky branches across the top here, and while I did that, I got to thinking I wanted my moon to have a little bit of a transparent glow around the edges. So I'm going to float the edges, which just simply means to dip your brush half in the paint and the other half in water or some kind of an oil, and just draw around the edges of it. And it gives a little bit of a glowing effect. And I thought, oh, I better do that before I get that tree done. Alright, and then I'm going to go back at the end of all this and connect this, and I'm going to put some glow-in-the-dark paint over the top of this moon. June has a set of twins, and they're young, and I think they'd really like to have this glow in the dark. I would if I was a kid. I had those glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling way older than I should have. Alright, we're going to let that first little bit dry. Looks good. I'm just touching up this acrylic hue again with another coat of this purple. It's I didn't base coat this, which is a huge tip. If I could give you one takeaway, it is buy a paint marker. That'll be your best friend for detailing, and base coat any chance you can. Base coat provides a primer on the back before you get started, and it'll cut down quite a bit of work and quite a bit of coats. Unfortunately, this one didn't lean itself into being able to be base coated on this section. I guess it did. I just didn't do it, to be honest with you. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. I heard my husband outside start up the concrete mixer, so I'm going to go check on him real fast and see what's going on. That usually means a project. Well, I was right, you guys. I heard it. It's a project for him, which means a project for me. So I'm going to sign off for the night, and we'll come back another time. With Jack, he's mischievous. He's like the poster child for Halloween spirit. He's got a stylish little outfit with the pinstripes and the bow tie and a good little grin. And then you have Sally over here with her patchwork dress that's just put together, and she's the embodiment of strength and creativity and resilience. And I want to paint her, I know they're dancing together. I want to go ahead and paint her gazing at him because she's always looking at him with a lot of love. So that's where we're starting at now. And I know that he wears black. I get that. But I'm going to go ahead and start with a little bit of a dark purplish brown and add some depths in there and a couple of different tones, because I don't want to just go in straight black. Even though it is a cartoon, it'll end up looking extremely cartoony. So we're going to add some tones and values with a little bit of a contrasting brownish purple. Purple, if you will. So we're going to make his suit outline, his little skinny legs. There was a crooked man with a crooked smile. All right, and then we're going to wash our brush out here in a minute. And this is going to take a couple of coats. It's not just going to be a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, one and done. They are a very special couple. Their love is amazing, so let's give them the attention they deserve. So Sally, she's got her little patchwork creation, and we're going to go in and just color block them. I'm doing my own rendition of it, so it's probably not, her patches aren't exactly where they are in the movie, but that's okay with me. That's okay with you. All right, so we're going to put a couple of yellows, maybe this up here by her face because her hair's brown. Put a bit of contrast and some pinks and blues in there. Get a little bit of a bust and a waist and a neckline. Bring that down to a V. Make her look feminine. I just did a cubism, which is a technique of drawing where you sketch out a human form using triangles and cubes, and when you break it down, pretty much every human form comes from cubism. That's how most people sketch out their drawings for people and portraits. All right, let me add one more square of pink here. The couple that I'm doing this for, June and her husband Jim, I actually think, the more I thought about it, I was like, they look like Jack and Sally, which I don't know if she'll appreciate that, but she has long, amazing brown hair, and he's really tall too. And their anniversary is today, as a matter of fact. So I didn't realize that till she told me today. So that's awesome. All right, let me finish this up, and we'll stop for just a moment, see how we're doing. All right, everybody, we're back for a little while. I went the whole evening and got a bunch of stuff done, and made time to make sure I can finish this out. I sent the husband camping. He is down at the creek tonight, him and the blue dog. And then tomorrow I'm going to go up there and go meet them in the camper and then switch out dogs and take Huck, I think. Anyhow, that's what's going on tonight. So since I got the house to myself, I'm going to go ahead and finish this little guy up and move on to another project. But let's not rush this one through. I'm going to go ahead and get these branches real good and spindly. Make it good and spooky looking. I have Hocus Pocus playing in the background. I like that movie. I like all Halloween movies. There's not really a bad one. Not that I can find. Alright, I was thinking about putting a graveyard and the wrought iron fence like I mentioned earlier. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to sketch this on real fast. And then come back in and paint it. Alright, I'm just kind of freehanding one on here. And then I'll go back in a little bit and add black with it. Make it look a little bit more stout and sturdy. Kind of willy-nilly. Just my idea of what a fence would look like. It's going to a cemetery. All right. It's looking good. I'm getting a couple of things done here. I got some pumpkins base coated and some gravestones base coated, and their little dog Zero. And I'm going in with I have a picture for a point of reference off to the side here, and I'm just doing a little bit of shading to him, and then a little bit of work on her patchwork skirt or dress, I guess. And I understand that his tux is black and white. I'm just trying to give it a little bit more definition, depth, and add some interest to it. I do like his outfit. It's awesome. I like a lot of Tim Burton's characters. I think probably if I was just under duress and had to pick, I would say Edward Scissorhands is my favorite. It's such a tender love story. I love Winona Ryder and I love Johnny Depp, so that was them in their prime. I thought they were just absolutely beautiful people, and it was such a sweet story. All right, so his arm's coming, his lanky ass arm is coming around from her side. I'm going to add a couple of little shadows, places for Zero, just to show where his body is, even though he's floating. So we're going to add here. Whoop! Just kidding. All right, that's better. You can always add more, but it's really hard to take it away, especially on glass. So we're going to start out light and build up. Because most of his stuff's going to be a shadow effect. There we go. He's looking pretty good. All right. Zero the dog. Okay. I'll have to do a little bit more touching up on him, but we're going to get there. Okay, I know that Sally is very white, but she does have a couple of gray undertones. So we're going to add a little bit of those to her arms and legs, especially on the underside. There we go. I'm going to be completely transparent on this. Normally I plan my pictures out really well, but this one I did not. I just kind of freehanded everything and decided willy-nilly while I was in the middle of it. I did know I wanted this curve and the moon, and I want the moon to glow, and I want my point of interest to be off-centered. Other than that, I just didn't have a plan for it. So I wanted the picture to kind of open your imagination and like the best of Tim Burton-esque, just let it kind of go where it ends up at. And I'm liking where it's going. I am going to keep adding a couple more tendrils just to make it nice and bewitching. And I'm not going to add any leaves to this tree, so I want to make sure I get a good amount of dry, dead branches in there. And how I'm doing that is just getting my script liner and wetting my palette with black, making it really good and inky, and dragging it to a point. Drip it in your paint and drag it to a point. And then just roll it on. I like fast swipes. Fast and furious. Alright, I'm going to do the same technique, drag and roll, with my gate here. Just making it very ununiform. Now that's going to take me a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and get this done off camera so you won't have to sit through that. Alright, let me do a little bit more work on this incredible creature we call Jack and start adding in some black. I did a stupid thing today. I was trying to get inspired to get this painting done, and so I turned on when I got home from work, I turned on a spooky movie, and actually a pretty scary one, Annabelle, and that movie freaks me out. I love it though. But anyway, my point is, Billy's off camping, so I am in the house by myself tonight, which already gives me the heebie-jeebies. And then I put on a spook show, and then if that's not bad enough, we're supposed to get some pretty bad storms down here in Oklahoma tonight. And I sent my lantern with hint that I always keep in the backup closet for outages. I sent it with Babe camping, so I hope we don't get any outages. I'm going to be sitting here scared of the dark. For real, for real. Alright, I'm just filling in these little orange pumpkins with guess what color? Pumpkin orange. That's exactly what I needed. So that's what I'm going to fill in for a little bit. Do a couple of coats. So I'm going to let them dry in between. You really, on something cartoony like this, you're going to outline it with black anyway. And you don't really have to be too careful with it. Just give the general idea of it. I like to say squint art. Sometimes it's called trompe l'oeil, which means to trick the eye in French. I think if you squint hard enough and it has the shape of it, you can grasp the concept. Most of the time you can get away with that. It's kind of chaotic, lazy art, but it's still art. Trompe l'oeil, meaning to trick the eye, is a lot. There's a lot more to it than that, but I put them in the same genre. All right, so we're going to go back and wait for that to dry and do a couple more coats. And I'm at a stopping point for a moment. So I think my next step is to go rewatch part of that movie and see what color of hair Sally had. All right, we're going to do a little bit more work on the Pumpkin King, for lack of a better term. There's actually a play out for the Nightmare Before Christmas, which a musical, which looks pretty interesting. I like musicals. I didn't until this last year, and then my cousin and I started going, or plays, not musicals, and we watched a few of them. Wicked, Hairspray. I can't remember all of them, but anyway, there is one. I want to watch the Beetlejuice one, but I missed it last year. It was during my Thanksgiving break, and I was busy. So maybe this year we'll give it a shot. Anyhow, my point was they have a musical or a play of this, and it looks pretty cool. Okay, we had a little bit more orange on these pumpkins. I don't think I got the edges. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and put some leaves and some grass here on this. Just double load a brush, 2 different colors of green on each side. And we're just going to touch down and make a couple of leaves. Just little flicks. All right. Make a couple of pumpkin vines coming off of here. Some of them in the grass. Make a little trail out of there. Maybe they crawl over here. Maybe they crawl up the tree a little bit. Up the gate. Like a trellis. Oop. Big old fat leaf. All right. Okay. Then I'm going to make a little bit of grass while I've got the green. So I'm just going to take my brush and make my palette really good and inky with water. Once again, touch the brush down. And then roll it and drag it up and pull it. We're just going to give quick little flicks. Going to cover these grapes, look like they've been here a while. I got the little creepy ghosts popping out of them. Apparently you couldn't keep them in the ground. Okay, I'm going to go back and add a little bit of grasses by the tree. I like the vibrant green against this dark, the dark tone of it. I like the bright, vibrant green. It looks very Tim Burton-esque to me. Just keeping with the theme. Alright, that's just a couple of back ones. Then we're going to come in and do some highlighted ones. Make some here on the grass by the gate. There's one way to do grass. I like to do it this way. It seems to me like you have a little bit more control over it. But there is also another technique. Let me grab this fan brush real fast. Fan brush. Dip it straight and dry into the paint. touch down, pull up, and it does quite a few blades at once, and it'll even separate the ones that you have. It's kind of like putting mascara on the canvas to me. I like it for big pictures, if I'm doing a giant mural like on a building site or something, but on my own little regular paintings, I like to have a little bit more control. But it is a little bit of a different look if you wanted. Just wanted to show you the technique. Okay, that's gonna dry, and then we'll go put some highlights in it. All right, got our water good and inky. Now we're just gonna go through with our little script liner and make our little tendrils. Just kind of connecting all these little vines so they aren't just free floating. It really truly is just in the wrist. You just flip it around, flip it and plop it, and the faster you go, the more willy-nilly, the better it looks. Bippity boppity boop. Okay. All right, I promised a couple of highlights, and I'm just gonna, girl's best friend is candle and or moonlight, so this is moonlight. I'm gonna just pull a few sprigs here and there, especially where it's a darker bit. You go ahead and use that fan brush a little bit as well, just so we're consistent. Didn't even wipe the old paint off. We're just going to go right in with the yellow. Right across the top there. It's kind of fun. It's actually really fun. I like painting. Relaxes me. So I told you I had to run back and watch a little bit of the show real fast to see what color her hair was, and I've decided on it was a little bit of burnt umber. It's really truly not far from June's. The girl I'm painting this for, like I said, she's got her hair grows like a kudzu vine. She'll cut it, and then like overnight it's forever long again. It's crazy. Some people just have that, don't they? All right. That's looking good. All right, we're gonna get up a little closer and see if we can't get close up on Jack's face, and I'm just going to freehand it. I watched it enough. I think I know what he looks like. Kind of hard though. I did let him a little bit of a cocked side profile. I probably should have painted him straight on. Oh well. Alright, and then his weird little mouth here. With all his stitches. Let's see. Alright, like I said, start easy. You can always build up. Alright, give him a little nose. Side note, one time I was at the mall with my cousin a long time ago. There was this old man, and we heard this whistle. And we looked around, and it was him. Well, he probably wasn't that old. We were just really young kids. Anyway, he didn't have a nose, like at all. Where there was supposed to be a nose on his face, there was just like nothing. And I don't know why I just thought of that, but I did. That freaked me out for life. Okay. Alright, I can almost hear the music playing from that movie, Nightmare Before Christmas. What a good title, by the way. Nightmare Before Christmas. What a very good title. Love it. Okay, guys. That's going to be a wrap on Jack until I can put the pinstripes and his little stitches. But I'm going to have to get a paint pen to do that because it's just too much of a fine line. My script line just doesn't go down that little. Like I told you before, paint pens can be your best, a very good tool in your arsenal. All right, little Sally here. She's going to get some more stitchings. Super cute. Get her all stitched up. And then she's got a pretty easy little profile. She just got a big round eye with a little bit of blue eyeshadow. My kind of girl. And then we're going to turn our brush around upside down and take the tip of it to make her pupil. And she's staring lovingly at Jack, like we tend to do. And then we'll give her a little bit of a mouth. And then I'm going to give her a red lip. Her nose. Okay, and then Zero, if I remember right, he has an orange nose. So let's go in here and do a little bit of detail on him. We're going to go and shadow under his ears, under his head, his features. Show that he's flying. It's pretty simple. In fact, if you were going to try and do this, I would suggest you let the kid, if you have kids and you want to encourage them for art, that would be a really good project to start, is to show like what a Tim Burton-esque idea of painting would be with the big eyes and what different features. Just introduce them to painting with that and then let them paint Zero and have a good time with that. All right, we're just going to turn our brush upside down again and tap his little nose on. Perfect. I've added a couple of little folds on Sally's skirt, just going in and making a little bit of shading to look a little bit more real, well, as realistic as a cartoon can look. Finish the little guy. I'm waiting on Jack to dry so that I can do his pinstripes. And in the meantime, I'm going to put a couple of dark streaks in the hair. Give a little bit of movement. It's kind of like portraits and things are just completely different than cartoons. Cartoons just give you so much more range of freedom. Portraits, you have to be true to the subject. Cartoons, you're so much more open to interpretation. I can't even imagine what the first couple of drafts of Sally and Jack look like. I wonder if they were close to the originals or not. I'd really like to find that out, actually. Okay. While I got my little inky black, I'm going to go ahead and make a little bit cartoony look on the pumpkins. I like to just drag it in, put it in, smush it back off. I'm so sorry, you couldn't even see any of that. There you go. Drag it in, literally just smudge it right off. Just kind of blends it a little bit. There you go. You can use blending gel as well. All right. We're about to wrap up, folks. I'll go through and add a little bit of black blades of grass just to make it ominous. Looks like it would work in this picture. Kind of an afterthought, to be honest. All right. I could literally just piddle all day with this. Let me go ahead and add his stripes. Otherwise, I'll keep you here all day. All right, we're just going with the linear shape of his body, following the lines of his natural proportions. Everything's cinched in at the waist for him. Up the breast, collarbones, down the legs. Spindly sucker. All right, I'm just making quick little lines. I don't want too many. Just a general idea of it. All right, he is pinstriped up. I love it. Just got a text from the hubby. He's out there. He showed me a picture, of him and the blue dog out by the campfire. It looked like he cracked open a beer. I didn't see any snacks, but I'm sure he already ate supper. It's pretty late. Looks really good. Love it. I'm going to add a highlight over here on these ghosts. A couple of the tops of the pumpkins. A couple of fence posts. Make it look like moonlight's hitting them a little bit. All right, here's the final product, you guys. I really like this little family, June and Jim and their kids, Harper and Gunner. So I glued a couple of extra little doodads on there, a spider and a bat on the top and some pumpkins. And it gave it a little bit more of a three-dimensional effect. So I also dabbed glow-in-the-dark paint all over the moon. I love little surprises like that. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed doing it. Watching it. I enjoyed doing it. I really did. So, all right. Take care, everybody. Till next time on Holly's Hobby.